the Ninjago hydration station. Take a sip every time I say Ninjago. I guarantee you'll be hydrated today. Like most shows I watch, LEGO Ninjago has a cast of colorful characters. So much so that the main cast has been compared to fruits in show. The main characters are 6 ninja who began as strangers before coming together to become the protectors of Ninjago: Kai, Jay, Cole, Zane, Lloyd, and Nia. Each ninja is unique and memorable in their own way, and picking a favorite is hard for most people. But for me, there's always been a ninja I've been drawn to. And that's Kai, the red ninja and master of fire! I have no idea what drew me to Kai, to be honest, but from day one, he's given main character vibes. He was the main character in the pilots, he has the most shonen protagonist vibes, and has the most anime-esque hair. Kai is your typical hot-headed character who's fiery and impatient, but competent and gets the job done. Sure, he has comedic moments and moments of stupidity, but so do the other ninja. And when all was said and done, Kai was always the emotional core of the ninja team. We see this in the pilots, which is a Kai-focused story. While we get introduced to the ninja team, Sensei Wu, and the world of Ninjago, the story starts with Kai. The OG ninja team wasn't complete until Kai joined. In Season 2, when the Core 4 traveled back in time to the pilots, the whole plot was around making sure past Kai joined the team, as according to Zane,
if Kai doesn't become a ninja, the world as we know it won't exist.
In the early era of Ninjago, Kai would be the one to rally the team, like he did when the Great Devourer attacked in Season 1. And he was always the one giving seriously emotional and well thought out speeches, like his speech at the end of Season 2 after Lloyd defeated the Overlord, or the speech he gave at Zane's funeral. I know some people have said that Cole was the leader before Lloyd took over, but honestly, I feel like it was Kai. I've been rewatching the show, and I've seen multiple times where Kai has taken charge and been a competent leader. In Home, Kai is the one who suggests cutting the lines on the 3 trees holding Lloyd's treehouse together. In Can of Worms, he is the one who comes up with the idea of using rumors to turn the Serpentine against each other. During the Great Devourer's rampage, not only does Kai rally the team, he also comes up with the idea to use scrap from Ed and Edna's junkyard to whip up a vehicle to combat the Great Devourer. In that same episode, when Lord Garmadon asks for the golden weapons to defeat the Great Devourer, the team turns to Kai for the final go-ahead, which he does allow before coming up with the plan to keep the Devourer still. Post-editor Queen of Penguins here, I also forgot to mention Kai is the one who finds the Devourer's weak spot on its head. In Ninja Ball Run, he leads the team to victory by driving the ultrasonic raider towards the chasm Garmadon had made, trusting in his sister and pulling the lever despite not knowing what it does. In Wrong Time, Wrong Place, he's guiding the team's actions as Garmadon tries to sabotage his past self's ninja journey. In Art of the Silent Fist, Kai comes up with the idea to use what Sensei Garmadon had taught them to get the Ninjroids to shut down the power. In Ninja Roll, thanks to Skylar's words, he rallies Jay to tell the other contestants about Chen, since they've been alienating themselves by labeling themselves as a team. This ultimately leads to Lloyd's victory. During Possession, while Kai's official stint as leader is brief, he still leads the team quite often once they've all had a turn. This is best seen in Grave Danger, when the team goes to Kai when it comes to whether to escape with the Realm Crystal or give it to Moro in exchange for Lloyd. Kai then uses his weakened powers to heat up the crystal enough to burn Moro, which gets him to let go of Lloyd and briefly stops him from getting the Realm Crystal. In the same episode, after analyzing how the icicles in the Cave of Reflections kept growing back, he uses that to trap Moro, allowing the ninja to find the resting place of the first Benjitsu master before him. And in Hunted's final episode, he's the one who leads the team in using the Dragon Hunter's change to take down the Stone Titan. While not the official leader, Kai is an effective leader that the ninja are able to turn to in times of crisis. Kai has 2 big flaws. The first is his hot-headedness and impatience. Who would have guessed the fire ninja would be hot-headed? Not me. Anyway, Kai tends to rush into things without thinking, often leading to disaster, like in the pilots when he rushed after Nia's shadow without grabbing a weapon, or jumping to the conclusion that Lord Garmadon was stealing the golden weapons in the episode The Green Ninja. It doesn't help that in some aspects, he falls behind the team, such as being the last ninja to uncover his true potential. While being hot-headed and impatient is a big character flaw, Kai learns to overcome this. He's able to impart wisdom about patience onto characters like Lloyd when he first begins his training and has to be left out of missions, or to Wildfire when her dragon parent isn't getting better fast enough. Kai's willingness to rush in without thinking also shows his courage, which is one of his strongest traits and what earns him the respect of his teammates and allies. He was the only one courageous enough to jump onto Garmadon Stone Gundam to chain it down enough to knock it over. Not to mention that in the series of Ninjago shorts about the 6 virtues of Spinjitzu, One of them is courage, which is exhibited by Kai when he rushes in to save Wu from a bunch of dragons when the others want to sit and think about their next move. Kai's other biggest flaw is his ego and self-centeredness. This is mainly shown through his biggest character arc, letting go of the desire to be the Green Ninja. While the core four all want to be the Green Ninja, none want it more than Kai. He obsessed over it so much that it becomes what holds him back from unlocking his true potential. Once it all clicks in the Fire Temple that Kai is meant to protect the Green Ninja rather than become him, he's able to reach his full potential, saving Lloyd in the process. While it's seemingly dropped after Lloyd's revealed to be the Green Ninja, Kai even commenting in the finale that there's only one Green Ninja and Lloyd needs to head to the top of the tower himself, Tournament of Elements reveals that deep down, Kai still wishes he would have become the Green Ninja, commented on by Chen and revealed by the Staff of Elements.
I should have been a Green Ninja!
Not only that, at the beginning of the season, Lloyd calls him out when he comments on how he should have sacrificed himself instead of Zane. This may make Kai seem like a self-centered egomaniac, but I believe there's a deep-seated reason for Kai's behavior. Kai and Nia's parents, Rei and Maya, were stripped away from them at a young age, so Kai, as a young kid, was left to raise and protect his sister all by himself, hence why his stress and desperation to get her back in the pilot. Kai's always seen himself as the one, because he's always been the only one to protect Nia since they were kids. To him, his need to become the strongest, the best, the one, is rooted in a need to protect. That's also why he came to the conclusion he's a protector of the Green Ninja. Kai is also a very protective person, mainly seen in the pilot when he joins the ninja team in order to save and protect his sister. Once someone becomes his friend and earns his trust, he'll stop at nothing to protect them. When Lloyd becomes the Green Ninja, he becomes more protective of him and takes his role as his guardian seriously. In Tournament of Elements, he's willing to do whatever it takes to stay in the tournament in order to find Zane. Despite their bumpy relationship, once Skylar betrays her father due to Kai's kindness towards her and gets kidnapped by him, Kai gets worried about her and is the first one to go after her. After realizing that Wildfire is just his younger self, Kai becomes a mentor to her and is always looking out for her, like when she gets injured or when he fought Roby broke her heart. He has such older brother energy. Now besides the pilots, Kai never had a pure focus season. While Tournament of Elements was advertised as a Kai season, he never felt like the complete main character of the season the way other ninja did in their season. Rather, he shared the spotlight with Lloyd until they got off the island, when Lloyd stole his thunder. He had the time he shared with Nia, and the Fire chapter, he was not the main character. If anything, Zane was the main character and he was mostly a casualty. Possession is advertised as a Lloyd season, but seeing as Lloyd isn't really in the season until the end because of, well, possession, it feels more like a team season. In my opinion, it's a Kai, Nia, Cole fusion type season, as those three get the most attention out of the ninja team. While Kai might not seem like the immediate center of attention, he's the most determined to get Lloyd back after promising to look after him. He fights Moro one-on-one more than any other ninja, and he's the only one to get through to the real Lloyd. Kai and Moro also have very similar stories. They both thought that they could be the Green Ninja, so much so that it consumed them to an unhealthy degree. But while Kai let go of that desire and became Lloyd's #1 defender, Moro let his rage consume him and got himself killed only to serve an evil ghost mommy. Moro is what Kai could have become if he hadn't let go of his desire to be the Green Ninja. And while that parallel isn't pushed much in the narrative sadly, it's still cool to see them fight one another. I love Kai in Possession. It's probably one of his best seasons in terms of his character. And that's with me not even mentioning how despite his fear of water, he jumped into the water first chance he got to save Lloyd when he was drowning. Despite Kai only having 2 focus seasons within the first 7 seasons, 3 if you count the pilots, every season found a way to include a unique story for him. In Season 1, he had his True Potential episode, and he was the first one to discover Nia's secret identity as Samurai X. In Season 2, he had the Time Travel episode. In Season 3, he had a mini-arc about struggling with the technology of New Ninjago City, which culminated in him struggling in the Digiverse. Despite struggling to go gold when the team needed him to, he was able to overcome his doubts and complete the reboot. And in the next episode, he had a cool chase scene in the X1 Ninja Charger. Tournament of Elements is technically his season, but he kinda shares focus with Lloyd. But we see how his relationship with Skylar develops throughout the season, which allows him to break the Staff of Elements, which would have stopped Chen's whole plan if we didn't have 3 episodes left in the season. I already talked about Possession and why I feel it's a particularly Kai-focused season, and Hands of Time is focused on him and Nia finding their parents and stopping the Time Twins from changing the past. You'll notice that all of my talk about Kai so far has been about his character from the pilot all the way until Season 7. That's because that's when I thought his character was the best. He wasn't the sharpest ninja in the monastery, and the other ninja loved the crap on him. But he was one of the most competent ninja on the team. He was hot-headed, but fiercely loyal and protective. He was self-centered, but an incredible leader that others can turn to. Kai was my favorite ninja. Until the redesigns happened! After the movie happened, we got Sons of Garmadon, one of the most well-loved seasons despite the changes it brought. While redesigning the characters was controversial, and still is to this day, Season 8 brought on a darker, more mature story as the audience, and even the show's lean green bean, was growing up. We had one of the best villains of the franchise in Harumi, a casualty of the Great Devourer that completely messed up Lloyd's head forever. The return of Garmadon, but as evil and emotionless as a Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta player. And character development for our existing cast like Lloyd and even Cole. However, this was the downfall of Kai. Kai went from an emotionally intelligent, serious character to a comic relief character. Jay 2.0. Now, I'm not dissing Jay. He's a fun character and brings great humor and quirks to the show. But Jay is our dedicated comic relief, and we don't need more than one dedicated comic relief character. Every ninja has their moments of comic relief, including Kai. But from Season 8 onwards, it feels like Kai exists just to be comic relief. Seriously, we go from Kai working with Nia in the past to fight the Time Twins in Episode 10 of Hands of Time, to Kai in Episode 1 of Sons of Garmadon, throwing books around to find a secret passage only the royal family knows. Other instances in the Oni trilogy of Kai being unnecessary comic relief include him telling Harumi they'll get all ninja up on her, revealing he didn't know what else to say because Lloyd usually does the talking, and his pillow line from March of the Oni. Despite that, it wasn't complete doom and gloom for Kai. While Sons of Garmadon didn't give him too much, Hunted gave Kai, as well as some of the other OG ninjas, stuff to do in the First Realm, such as Kai connecting with the Wind Dragon and how to build a dragon, Kai teaching Wu about confidence in the weakest link, and Kai leading the charge against the Stone Titan and Green Destiny. While March of the Oni was a Garmadon and Lloyd story with some Cole drama thrown in as an excuse to finally give him a previously on Ninjago segment, Kai had his moments in the fall by comforting Nia after Cole's fall, and an ending when he reforged the golden weapons despite not feeling confident in his blacksmith skills. Now, the Oni trilogy hadn't treated Kai the best compared to the pilots for Season 7 and derailed him in certain areas, but if you thought Kai's shift in the Oni trilogy was bad, his shift in the Wildbrain era was even worse. All the silliness and comic relief? Amplified. His strategic brain and leadership skills? Non-existent. Kai was smart in certain ways, but here he's dumbed down to a blithering idiot with his only redeeming quality being his humor and the flaws I mentioned earlier. Secrets of Forbidden Spinjitzu is a Kai and Zane focused season, with Kai getting the fire chapter and Zane getting the ice chapter. Despite this advertising, it felt like Zane was the focus ninja of the fire chapter, with him being a victim of Lego leaks in the first episode, and him being the one to stop Asphira and save Wu from being banished to the Neverrealm. The ice chapter, while Zane is a focus in multiple ways, such as being the reason the ninja were in the Neverrealm and being the twist villain at the end as the Ice Emperor, he didn't feel like the main focus. All the ninja minus Jay had a mini arc within the ice chapter, with Cole meeting Crag and finding the Traveler's Tree, Nia learning to control ice, and Lloyd being the one to travel out to find Zane. Lloyd feels like the biggest focus of the ice chapter, with him being the one to meet and bond with Akita, and him being the one who confronts the Ice Emperor and fights against him. So, what does this 30-episode season do for Kai? Well, he gets his power stolen 5 episodes in by Asphira, and goes through an arc struggling with not having an elemental power. That sounds decent on paper, but it's executed very poorly and does nothing for his character. He has no power, goes through strife, and then gets it back and never learns anything from it. Kai had no elemental powers for most of seasons 2 and 5, and it never got him down. You could argue that this was the first time it was just him, but even then, Kai wouldn't just sit down and take it. He's better than that. If this was season 1 to 7 Kai, yeah, he'd be upset that he lost his powers, even complain about it, but he wouldn't let it break him down. He'd still rush into battle with whatever forces come in his path if it meant protecting those he cares about. Here, once Kai realizes that he can't do much without his powers, he refuses to come along with the ninja to stop Asphira, feeling useless without them and having to be reminded by a fanboy that ninja never quit. Now that I think about it, I hope these guys never get on drugs because ninja never quit. And that's the only main focus he ever gets in Wildbrain Ninjago. In Prime Empire, he dies early on due to wasting his lives, something he should have seen coming as he's a gamer. In Master of the Mountain, the episode Trial by Mino just has him being overdramatic about getting slop in his mouth, pelted by rocks, and randomly assigned Chancellor of the Geckos. He didn't even earn it, unlike Nia, who beat the Months Queen in a duel. Now I want fan art of Nia wearing a duel disc from Yu-Gi-Oh! The island, he's just there. He doesn't go with his sister in the gang in Seabound, barely reacts when his sister becomes one with the sea, and in Crystallize, after a year without his sister, while he's shown to be angry, he barely reacts to it. He spends most of the first 6 episodes just bickering with Jay, and after Nia returns, he barely interacts with her, and does basically nothing except hit on Skylar for like a scene. I haven't even mentioned how Wildbrain Kai just loves to crap on Jay for really no reason. There were scenes here and there of Kai dissing Jay back in classic Ninjago, but they were few and far between.
Even Jay could do it! Oh, thank you very much, Fire Boy!
Seasons 11 through 15 had Kai constantly putting down Jay, calling him the most expendable ninja, getting upset when Jay had to be the one to save him from some fire snakes, even questioning who would even want Jay, knowing full well his sister was dating him. It was really overdone, and at times came off as just cruel. They seriously massacred my boy, and for a long time, I couldn't definitively say that Kai was my favorite ninja due to how far he had fallen from grace since Season 7. I really thought it was Jover for him. But then, in 2023, Dragons Rising descended from the heavens, ushering a new era for Ninjago and Kai. While Kai in Dragons Rising still exhibited the silliness and comic relief he had in the Wildbrain era, it's done to a much lesser extent, giving a decent mixture of the serious, mature Kai from earlier seasons and the goofball we see in the later seasons. He's given much more character than Fire Ninja comic relief that this is on Jay cause haha funny. The first way they improve him is putting more focus on the sibling dynamic of Kai and Nia, something that felt lost after Hands of Time and probably March of the Oni. The way Kai and Nia interact in Dragons Rising feels really natural in a way siblings would act, like getting mad at each other over small things, hugging after not seeing each other for a long time, lifting each other up in desperate times, and teasing one another. It feels so natural and fun to watch. However, the biggest change Kai undergoes in Dragons Rising is becoming a mentor figure for one of the new characters, Wildfire. Wildfire is like if Kai was raised in the zoo, and exhibits a lot of similar traits and flaws to him, including hot-headedness, impatience, and overconfidence. Because of this and them being paired together for a mission, we're able to see Kai's growth throughout the series as we see him bond with Wildfire and teach her some of the lessons he learned from Wu. He even tells her she reminds him of how he was back in the day, and because Wildfire is a former version of Kai, he's able to effectively teach her in a way none of the other ninja can. Kai's care for the people around him and willingness to protect his friends is on full display here. This is mainly shown with Wildfire. Once he and Wildfire bond and become what the fandom calls a father-daughter duo, he's very protective of her and shows how much he cares for her, whether it's attacking Beatrix for trapping her in the Mergequakes, or taking care of her when she injures her leg, or protecting her when she comes on the mission after being told not to, or even when he thinks Roby broke her heart. Kai's care also extends to the other ninja recruits. In Season 3, even after learning errands with Roz, he lets Aaron know he still considers him one of the gang, and expresses shock and worry when he chooses to go back with Roz. In the Elemental Mech shorts, he's shown to let loose and have fun with Aaron and Sora, caring for them a lot. Now, Kai being a great mentor figure could have been the only thing Dragons Rising gave us, and I would have been eating happy. But the writers decided to let us Kai fans have a feast by giving us Season 2 of Dragons Rising. In Season 2, most of the ninja have to learn a new technique called Rising Dragon in order to combat the villain's new Shatter Spin. Wait a minute. Rising Dragon. Dragons Rising. Oh my gosh, they're referencing the title! While in the past, Kai is usually the last one to achieve things, like his true potential, this time around, Kai is the one making the most progress in learning Rising Dragon. But what's keeping Kai back from achieving Rising Dragon is one of his greatest flaws that I listed earlier in the video, his self-centered attitude. Of course Kai cares about the others and is worrying about them, but as Nia points out, he's only focusing on him and how angry he's feeling. With help from Nia reminding him of their childhood in the blacksmith shop playing games and having fun, Kai becomes the first ninja to achieve Rising Dragon and is able to totally kick Cinder's butt with it. Until Roz decided to use his bonk emote, flinging Kai into Netherspace. In Netherspace, Kai meets Bonzel, the spell Roz is using to release the Forbidden Five. She speaks of a way to close the portal, but wants to wait until she gets Kai back through. However, Kai tells her to close it first chance she gets, choosing eternity in the Netherspace to letting his friends and loved ones have to fight more of the Forbidden Five. So Bonzel closes the portal, leaving her and Kai in Netherspace. Bonzel apologizes for not being able to let him escape, but Kai lets her know that she did good and doesn't need to apologize. And despite Bonzel telling him it's impossible to escape, he doesn't lose hope. reciting the overused "Ninja never quit" line. His optimism pays off, as not 10 episodes later, with help from Nia and Ryu, Kai has an epic return. He then fights against Noct, who has all the elemental powers thanks to the Staff of Elements 2.0, and does pretty well until the power of multiplication overwhelms him. Honestly, it feels like what should have happened between him and Chen in Season 4, but better late than never! What I love about Kai learning Rising Dragon before sacrificing himself to the Nether Space isn't how it adds him to the list of fake-out sacrifices, but rather it's how it shows his growth. In Season 4, Lloyd calls him out for always thinking he should be the one, how he should have been the Green Ninja, how he should have been the one to sacrifice himself instead of Zane. He's always thinking about him, and even though he cares for the others very deeply, and his belief to be the one is rooted in his deepest desires to protect those he cares about, at the end of the day, he was always thinking about himself. Kai learning Rising Dragon was him learning to stop thinking about just himself and getting in motion with the world, which allowed him to truly step up and protect the others. While getting whacked by Roz into the Nether Space wasn't his will, shutting down the portal before the other Forbidden Five got set loose despite knowing he'll be trapped is a sacrifice not rooted in selfishness, but selflessness. Kai was more willing to be trapped for eternity than allow his loved ones to be subjected to more of the Forbidden Five. And that's what made him a hero in that moment. And his story is still going. He's still training with Wildfire and looking out for both her and his sister while they go look for Jay. Yes, he does have a couple antics on the journey that seemingly relapse to old Wildbrain behaviors, like the mouth popping. He's still going strong. There's also been some pretty good Kai developments in the leaked episodes of Season 3, which I want to briefly mention, so click on the timestamp here if you want to avoid spoilers. In Season 3 Part 2, while he has a weird and annoying bit where he eats these dry wafers despite thinking they're gross, he shows his capacity as a mentor as he and Cole mentor Frack and start teaching him Spinjitzu. Kai also helps them unearth the dead Source Dragon, knowing it was exhausting them and they couldn't stop. His biggest moment is when Cole tries to confront Noct after Noct hollowed out the Finders, aka Cole's second family. He tries to get through to Cole, letting him know that he's acting hot-headed like how Kai tends to, and is letting his anger get to him. When Cole doesn't listen and goes anyway, Kai immediately goes to upgrade his prismatic blade before it's too late, but isn't able to stop Cole from being hollowed out by Noct. Also, when he reunites with Sora for the first time since she went with Eren and Roz, he immediately hugs her and is relieved that she's okay. Kai started out as Ninjago's main character, the shonen-esque hothead with the courage to run in without thinking and the skills to lead the team when others didn't know what to do. He was the emotional core of the show, and while he lost some of the traits that made him such a great character, Dragon's Rising returned his fire to him, and I'm excited to see where Kai's character goes next. I'm especially excited for Monstrosity, the 3-episode miniseries detailing where Kai ended up after the merge and the horrors he endured. It's a great time to be a Kai fan, and I couldn't be prouder to call Kai my favorite ninja. Let me know your thoughts on Kai in the comments below. This is Queen of Penguins saying peace out and happy Pride Month!